Hydra Hut, and let's talk about Mega Man Mastermix. So, the whole reason I got this was because of a guy called at Lil Formers. His name's Matt Moylan. I follow him on Twitter. He works for Udon, and he was promoting the hell out of it. Also, I am a big fan of the games. I played them a lot when I was a kid. I was absolutely terrible at them, but I liked them. Not super familiar with the lore, but as it turns out, you don't need to really have any pre-knowledge of the lore. This is a pretty great book. You might notice that it's sitting the wrong direction. That's actually because this was originally printed in Japan, and this is a reprint. But because of that, I want to show you guys this from the other side real quick. Also, this is a pretty sweet back spread. I like it. Anyway, if you're not familiar with manga, and you did just try and open this up like a standard American comic, Udon's got your back, and they give you this nice warning message. Whoops! This is the back of the comic. You're looking at the last page, not the first one. Mega Man Mastermix is a comic originally published in Japan, where comics are known as manga. Traditional manga is read in a reversed format compared to Western comics, starting on the right and heading toward the left. This applies to both page order and panel reading order. To preserve the original artwork, we've decided to leave the Japanese format intact. Check the examples below to see how to read the word balloons in proper order. And then they give you a nice little example, which is cool. If you're not familiar with manga, then that'd be a nice thing to see. I also like that they cover up the last page so you don't get any spoilers on accident just because you derped into it. Oh, also this is a 80-page, giant-sized. It's $7.99. It's a lot for a comic, but considering you're getting 80 pages, I mean, you're buying a couple of comics all in one, really. So, I didn't feel bad spending that much. And it's pretty solid all the way through. This is by Hitoshi Ariga and Josh Perez. I'm sure I pronounced Hitoshi's name wrong. So, this is actually the first time I noticed that Matt Moylan was a editor. I knew he was the director of publishing at Udon, but I didn't know he was also doing editing. That's pretty cool. Story and art by Hitoshi Ariga, colors by Josh Perez, letters by Marshall Dillon, translation by M. Kari Hayashi. I apologize for the mispronouncing. We start off with this nice little dream sequence here that opens up to introducing both Dr. Light and our boy Rock. I really like how, I don't know, simple and expressive and yet detailed the art is. It's very manga-y, especially considering when this was originally printed, but it's also nice and colored, which is a great change. As it starts out, it basically just introduces Rock, Dr. Light, talks about how all of his robots are actually used to help people, make everybody's life easier. They're not trained for combat or battle or anything like that. And then we see a nice spread shot of all of Dr. Light's robots. We got Cutter Man, we got Electro Man, Bomber Man. Story moves right along. Honestly, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time, that it follows the original game fairly closely. And there's lots of little Easter eggs that I think fans are going to like if they, well, I guess it's not really an Easter egg, it's just, but anyway, there's a lot of stuff that if you're a big fan of the comic, or the game, you're really going to like reading this. Every time they introduce one of Dr. Light's robots, they give him the Dr. Light number and his name. You notice that, his name's Rock now. We'll see him evolve into Mega Man later. As the story progresses, it's basically just setting up the happy scene. We introduce Roll. That's right, Rock and Roll. She's a very expressive character. Just gonna skip a little bit ahead. And this is where we see the first of real serious shot of the Doctor's other robots. And it's a nuclear power plant where Electro Man is controlling some generators, and we see him disobey some direct orders by some humans. He sounds the horn of war and calls the other robots out and sends them to go forth and destroy. We also see light number 7, Fireman, as he also breaks free of the control. We are joined by Bomb Man and Guts Man. This is Guts Man, this is Bomb Man, of course. They also go rogue, I guess you could say. And we just get a nice little montage of all the creations we saw earlier as they start to go evil, essentially. Some great art, great colors. Everything's very crisp, clear, nice and defined. Standard for my reviews. I'm not going to read much, if any, of this, because I want you all to buy it. So, of course, the other creations, they all band together and start wreaking havoc throughout the city. You get great shots of it going down, plenty of story, dialogue. We see some ghost imagery of Dr. Wily. They are, of course, not telling us who he is just yet. The news is reporting on the havoc that these robots are wreaking. They've directly contacted Dr. Light. He doesn't understand why his robots would be doing this. They weren't designed for war or fighting of any kind. And then he realizes that somebody must have done some tampering. And then he remembers that there is somebody with that capability. And the story keeps rolling along in the background as the robots continue to wreak havoc. Of course, our boy Rock steps up to the plate and demands that he be allowed to go and stop these robots. Dr. Light puts the kibosh on that. Says, Rock, you're not built for war, buddy. You can't. There's no way we can do this. Of course, Rock and Roll talk to him, and they convince him that the only way to stop the creations is for him to do it, and Dr. Light has the capability to equip him for war. And that's exactly what they do. So as the scene moves on, we see Cutter Man battling some stealth bombers. Really cool scene. And then that's when we get our first appearance of Mega Man. We get his glorious entry shot. Also his introduction as Mega Man for the first time. Let's see if you can focus on that. No. It does not copy. Sorry about the pause, but I gotta see what that says. Zoom phone! Zoom! It does not comprehend. Does not comprehend. Okay, so his eyes are reading, it does not comprehend. Sorry about the long, awkward pause, but it's the first time I actually noticed it, and I had to see what those were. So the from here on, this comic basically follows the plot of the game. You're basically, we skip all the little bits where Rock's doing the preliminary fights before the boss fights, and he's just rolling along to each boss battle, fighting them. We're getting more and more story explained to us as the battles continue. We of course learn that Rock has the ability to essentially take powers from the other guys, and he's a hero in this. He's the center of the story. You do a great job to Mega Man in this, and all the other guys are treated pretty well too. Now I'm just gonna start skipping through and let you guys see a couple of the bigger dudes. So here we got Electro Man, looking stylish as fuck. Let's see, who else we got? Here's a nice shot of Rock finally changing and using the rolling cutter for the first time. So, as you can see, it might be a reprint of something that was already done, but it looks very modern. It's very well written. The art is on par. The characters are all recognizable. You don't actually need to know anything about Mega Man to understand this story. Diamond, or whoever the publisher is really Doing a great job on this, as always. But, man, such a great job on all the characters. Highly recommend this, guys. You got to check it out. And it's just, it's 80 pages, and I like it. I can't. Oh, these characters are so great. It's a nostalgia trip, guys. You got to check this out. Let's see what's up for the line. And at the end of the book, and this is pretty cool, we get character designs for all the characters. Breakdowns of their weapons, their armor, their actual character design. I'll just give them little statistics. And the nice thing about this is it just progresses like the game. After Rock saves the day, more advanced robots that were fully created by Dr. Wily show up, and we're given a nice big cliffhanger assuring us that there will be a second issue. I don't know if the next one's going to be a deluxe issue as well. I wouldn't mind it either way, but I highly recommend this one, guys. Again, this is Mega Man Mastermix, The Blue Bomber Returns. First issue. More to come. Hail Hydra, baby. You guys have a good one.